This episode of Inside High School Sports is brought to you by R.A. Haitz Company Incorporated. R.A. Haitz is owned by Richard Wendt and is a family business established in 1945. R.A. Haitz specializes in residential and commercial roofing, metal roofing, gutters, siding, windows, copperwork, and sheet metal fabrication. Also brought to you by Bubba's Landscape. Do you need landscaping services for your home or business? Count on Bubba's Landscape here in Leroy. Working on residential and commercial landscapes throughout Western New York, whether you need your driveway shoveled or new flower beds for your front lawn, you can count on Bubba's superior attention to detail, timely completion, and competitive rates for any kind of landscaping work you may need. Get an estimate today. Call 585-768-6578 to schedule landscaping and lawn maintenance for your home or business.
Career junior Owen with Bella Condidorio from Leroy High School. Bella, you had a long career. What was it like this year, finishing off with a couple more sectional titles and, getting that sixth place at the state meet and, kind of ending on the note you did?
It was amazing. I didn't really expect myself to go as far though. Last year I did not make my expectations at all. And I'm just happy that I got to where I was this year.
This year, you stepped into that leadership role with some of the older guys having graduated. How were you able to do that, and what'd you do to, prepare yourself to be that leader?
It was kind of easy considering I had two people before me. Bailey Morris 2 years ago, he was a leader and he helped show us. And then I had Mitch Hockey last year. He was 2 years older than me, and he just showed what a leader does, and I just kind of took points from him and just was able to fill those shoes with relative ease.
Coach, talk to me about how he was able to do that and, kind of seamlessly step in, not just playing for singles, that's one thing, but, being a leader to some of the younger guys on the team.
Yeah, Owen's been with us a long time and has been a really outstanding player. And like you just mentioned, he's had those guys in front of him a little bit for a year or two. So he's been able to see what it takes to win sectionals. He finished last year in the finals against Mitch, so he was right there. He won the first set against Mitch, and then not to make excuses for either one of them, Mitch is a great player, came back and beat him 2 out of 3 sets. It was very hot days with 95 degrees that day. So just a great match, grueling match. This year was a much nicer climate, right? Probably 73 degrees, and Owen again got through. Played some good competition, but you were able to you were outstanding that day, and he got to the final. Then he ended up Matt Hockey, our second singles player. He knocked off the one seed, the kid that won it from Holly last year. So then he played Owen in the final. So Owen had a chance to play 2 hockeys in the final 2 years in a row. This time he came out on top, and Matt's only a freshman, so he'll hopefully have his time too. So.
Coach, watching her work, to get to this point, what kind of pleasure did it bring you to see, an athlete that started off as good as she did as a youngster, just continue to work and try to get better?
When she began her career in 8th grade, I was an assistant on the staff, and I think she turned a lot of heads as a young athlete, and to see her continue to climb and even just maintain some of the time she achieved at a young age is pretty uncommon for, girls in the sport of track and field. So, I think the other thing that's, really sets Bella apart from other sports and other athletes is, aside from her 8th grade season, she really didn't have someone day to day pushing her in practice. She's really self-driven and, like I always say, self-made. I mean, I can't go over a hurdle. And, she's, worked her tail off. She's always the last one at practice. A lot of times we'd have to tell her, you need to just dial it down a little bit, you're doing too much.
Yeah, Bella, like Coach mentioned, when you were in 8th grade, I believe it was McKenna Cohn was a senior. And, what did you learn from her, in her career, that you took the next few years? Like you said, you didn't have anybody else really pushing you, day in and day out she did as a senior.
Yeah, I'd say aside from obviously her helping out with hurdles a lot, I really learned how to be kind and really push other teammates. I mean, McKenna, like, easily she could have gotten jealous, like, because, like, I was, like, very talented as an 8th grader. And instead of being jealous and, like, pushing me away and, like, being rude, she, like, really stuck with me and, like, put me under her wing and, like, taught me, like, very valuable life lessons, and I'm really appreciative of that.
You lost to Mitch last year. What did you learn from that match, knowing that you would have to take into this season?
It was pretty tough because I knew Mitch was a great player. I've beat him before, but he's beat me about the same amount of times. It's just neck and neck. So after I won the first set, and I think just mentally, it forced me to just kind of lock in for this season. Like, I can't just assume I've won after the first set. Like, I still have to finish, win the second one. And that's just what it taught me for this year too.
What'd you see from him that had changed from last year to this year?
Yeah, just the consistency throughout the match during that section time. There were some matches leading up to sectionals this year where he had been off to a really good start and won the first set. He kind of took his foot off the gas pedal, let the other player get back into it. So those were just some talking points, and he realized that, and just mentally, almost playing like you're down a set instead of being up a set and not relaxing.
Which, on those same lines, seeing her this year as a senior, how was she as a leader? And, I can imagine someone as self-driven as herself, was a good leader to some of the younger kids on the group, kind of like people were to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And, myself and Coach Macaluso is our first year as head coaches. So, I give her a lot of credit of, just setting the tone for the expectations of just getting practice started, getting the warm-up going. She led the warm-up every day. When we began the workout, she was never complaining about it. Again, a lot of times pleading for a harder workout. I think like the first week she said, I want to puke every day the first week. And I said, that's probably not the best thing for you, but respect the hustle.
Coming onto the scene as an 8th grader and winning as early as you did, was there pressure on you those next 4 years, do you think, to, obviously you missed the 1 year, but the next 3 years to live up to those expectations and even get past them?
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you mentioned that because I've been dying to tell someone my story. But so 11th grade, I got a concussion in indoor, and I like the week of sectionals, and I was seated first, and I wasn't able to compete in sectionals. So I literally watched my patch be given away to a girl in her time. Like, I could have beat it, and it like really like tore me apart. And so going into outdoor, I had this like immense amount of pressure on me to like do well and to like redeem myself in a way. And a lot of people were putting that on me, I think, and I wasn't hitting the times early in the season that I wanted to like I said, like redeem myself and like make myself feel better. And like I think a lot of people were getting on me about that, and I started to skip practices, and I started to skip meets, and I started to not do the workouts that would make me a better athlete. So then when time for sectionals and outdoor came around, I did not like perform well at all, and it just tore me apart. I hated track. I hated like everything to do with it, and I actually didn't want to do it this year. But I figured I like indoor better. So I was like, I'll give indoor a try, but I'm not doing outdoor. Like, I don't like outdoor. I don't want to go through that again, that pain. And then I won, and I was like, well, I kind of like winning, so I'll give outdoor a try. And then that happened. So I'm very, very happy.
Leroy's, it seems like every year you guys are in the mix for a title. There's got to be a lot of pressure on you guys to get it done every year. Do you guys feel that pressure? And what's it like being a part of this program that year after year is one of the tops in the league and in Section 5?
I don't know if there's too much pressure. Everyone here does a really good job at just letting us, like Coach does a perfect job, just letting us play, whatever happens. But obviously we want to do well, but I mean, we won last year, so most of us already have that patch, so some of the pressure's off. And I think that just helped everyone play their best.
Coach, seeing an athlete like this that starts off at a young age, and now as mentioned, she struggled a little bit and fought her way through. What does it say to some of those younger athletes that, may be in a similar position, maybe not as talented as her, but, in a position where they're talented and they have to see what they have to do to keep getting better?
Yeah, I think it's very challenging as a young athlete in any sport when you experience a lot of success because you hit it. They use the phrase, you peak early, or you peaked your sophomore year, and I think we all have, and in every sport, especially track. I mean, you're racing against the clock, so every time you step and compete, it's measured very specifically, where some other sports is, it's like, well, I might not have scored that game, but I played really good defense, or, so just, speaking specifically to track, I think, what Bella was able to do, was really hone in on the little things, especially being a hurdler.
And coach, he's got one more year left. What's the ceiling for him as a tennis player in high school, and what can he continue to do?
Yeah, I think he's a college player for sure. It's just going to be up to him how much, if you want to play in college, and then how much time he's going to put in. That's what's going to be. We already know he's a sectional champion. He's a sectional runner-up, right? If he can repeat as a champion there, that means he put some work in over the summer. But it's up to him how much he wants it. He's very intelligent. I think he's the salutatorian in your classroom, right now, a year out.
Yeah, Bella, it may have been difficult going through it, but looking back on it, how much are you going to miss these times at Leroy, and these times on the track, and, with your teammates and doing these things, and, how much did that time mean for you?
Yeah, I'm going to miss it a lot. I built like a ton of friendships in track, and I'm going to miss like seeing those people and like the times that I was able to like bond with them and joke around with them during practices and at meets. I think, I really took that for granted. I'm going to miss that a lot.
You have 1 year left. What do you think you have to do personally to, I don't know if take that next step is the right word, but just continue getting better and better and remaining toward the top?
How to continue? I think definitely just playing better people. I'm still in contact with Bailey and some other kids from Livonia that, sometimes I'll go on, I'll hit with them because they're, at my level or a little above. And I think that just, like I said before, it just helps a ton playing someone, more skilled than you, because you'll learn from them. You see what they're doing that's making them win, and then I can just try and repeat that.